Time doesn't ask for permission. It takes, it bends, it breaks. For years, Jamie and Claire Fraser have lived between centuries, fighting to hold on to love while history tried to tear them apart. But now, time has finally had enough. The clock is turning against them. The past is shifting, and the future is bleeding through. The line between worlds is fading, and with it, the meaning of forever. In this final battle, it's not just about surviving. It's about deciding what should live, love, or legacy. The story opens with the sound of rain on the stones at Fraser's Ridge. The air feels heavy, as if time itself is holding its breath. Claire stands by the window, her hands trembling slightly as she stitches a wound from a recent fight. Her eyes are distant, not looking at the wound, but at something far beyond it. Maybe it's the past. Maybe it's the future. Jamie enters, his face older now, marked by years of war and loss. But his presence still fills the room with strength. "You're thinking about them again," he says quietly. Claire doesn't answer. She doesn't have to. The ghosts of their choices linger in every corner of that house, the battles they fought, the lives they changed, and the people they lost at the tide of history. Outside, the Revolutionary War continues to rage. The land trembles under the boots of soldiers, and smoke rises from distant fields. But what truly haunts them isn't the war. It's the sound Claire heard a few nights ago. A strange humming near the stones, like the world calling out to her again. She knows that sound too well. It's the song of time. Brianna and Roger, living centuries away, feel the same echo. Their children wake in the night, crying from dreams of voices they can't explain. Roger believes the stones are calling again, but this time, not just for one traveler. This time, they might be calling for everyone. Back at Fraser's Ridge, Jamie looks out over the misty hills, his heart torn between two worlds. He's fought for this land, for this time, for his family. But he knows the truth. Time has never been theirs to control. Every moment they've stolen from fate has a cost. Claire touches his arm. "What if it's happening again?" she whispers. "What if the walls between times are falling?" Jamie turns to her, his eyes calm but heavy. "Then we'll face it together, Sassenach, as we always have." The camera would pull back slowly here, showing the vast Scottish wilderness stretching endlessly, as if time itself watches them. The hum grows louder, mixing with thunder. The war, the love, and the curse of time are about to collide once more. The first cracks in reality have already begun to show. The world doesn't end with fire or thunder. It ends with silence. A silence so deep it feels like the earth has forgotten how to breathe. It starts small, a clock stopping mid-tick, a candle flickering backward, a river flowing in both directions at once, and then everything begins to fold in on itself. Time is no longer a road, it's a storm, and Claire can feel it in her bones. She's in her workshop, surrounded by the smell of herbs and the soft ticking of an old pocket watch. But today, even the watch refuses to obey. It trembles in her hand as if alive, the hand spinning without order. She closes her eyes and hears whispers, voices from different centuries bleeding into one another. A woman crying in 1968. A man calling her, name in 1778. The echoes merge until she can't tell which one is real. Jamie rushes in, his breath heavy, his eyes sharp. "Claire," he says, "the stones are glowing again." She freezes. The words hit her like cold wind. They both remember what that means. A doorway opening. A warning from time itself. The last time that happened, they lost everything they knew. Outside, thunder rolls across the sky. The air bends. Trees sway in strange, unnatural patterns. It's as if time is tearing itself apart. Moments from different years colliding like waves, far away. In the modern world, Brianna watches her children play near the river, but something feels wrong. The water flickers, showing flashes of another world. Men on horseback, flames and banners from the past. Her son looks up at her and says, "Mama, the man from your stories. He's here." Before she can answer, she sees him too, the ghostly shape of Jamie Fraser standing across the water. Fading in and out like a memory that refuses to die, Roger begins studying his old notes. Desperate to understand what's happening, If time collapses, he says, it won't just pull us back or forward. It'll erase everything, every moment. Every life that ever crossed the stones. Meanwhile, back at Frasers Ridge, the animals grow restless, the air tastes metallic, and the world itself seems confused, half in day, half in night. Claire walks outside, clutching Jamie's hand, and sees something that steals her breath. The stones are no longer still. They're spinning slowly, humming with a golden light that cuts through the fog. Time is unraveling, thread by thread, and then, from the shadows, a voice speaks. Calm, deep, and ancient. You've bent time for love, Claire Fraser. But now, time wants balance. A figure steps out, not ghost, not man, but something between both. His eyes hold centuries of knowledge and sorrow. He calls himself the Keeper of Time. He looks at them with pity, not anger. Every choice leaves a scar. Every love changes history. You've touched too many destinies. The storm has come to make things right. Jamie steps forward, his voice steady. And what does it want from us? The Keeper smiles faintly. Everything you've taken. The wind rises, and the ground begins to tremble. The stones glow brighter, pulling at them like a tide. Claire feels her heart breaking, not from fear, but from knowing what's coming. The past, the present, and the future are collapsing into one. The final battle has begun, not on a battlefield of men, but within the fabric of time itself. Love has carried them through wars, through centuries, through the unthinkable. But this time, love itself may be the cost. The air around Frasers Ridge feels different now, as if time has grown tired. The colors of the world have dulled. The wind carries whispers of voices that don't belong to this era. Claire and Jamie move through their home like shadows trapped between two heartbeats. Late at night, Claire sits by the fire. The flame dances in her eyes, but her thoughts are miles and centuries away. She takes out a faded letter, one she once wrote to her daughter, Brianna, and reads it softly. Her voice cracks. If time should ever tear us apart again, know that love is the thread that binds us. Jamie enters quietly, placing a hand on her shoulder. His touch still feels the same, warm, grounding, real. But when she looks up, for a fleeting second, his face flickers. Older, younger, then back again. Time is playing tricks now, even with memory. Jamie kneels beside her, his voice low. I can fight men, Claire. I can fight wars. But how do you fight time? She looks into his eyes, filled with years of both pain and grace. You don't fight it, she whispers. You hold on through it. Far away, Brianna feels that same ache. In her own century, she studies her mother's old journals, trying to make sense of the tremors shaking the fabric of their world. Every page tells a story of love defying logic. But also one warning, time takes back what it lends. Roger, with desperation in his eyes, says, if the timelines keep collapsing, we'll lose them, or we'll lose ourselves trying to fix it. But Brianna's voice is steady. They fought for us. Now it's our turn. She prepares to travel back, not knowing if she'll ever return. The sound of the stones fills her ears once more, that strange, sorrowful hum that seems to come from her very bloodline. Her children's laughter echoes behind her as she steps into the light. Meanwhile, Claire senses it, that pull in her heart that always told her when her daughter was near. She stands suddenly, tears in her eyes. Jamie, she's coming. He looks at her, both proud and afraid. Then it begins again. As the night deepens, time itself starts to fracture. In one heartbeat, they see the past, the first time they met. In another, the future empty rooms, silent echoes, graves overgrown with ivy. They are living inside the loop of their own story, watching love rise and fall over centuries. The Keeper's voice returns, carried by the wind. Love is the strongest force in time, and the cruelest. Claire looks toward the stones glowing on the horizon. If love built this world, she whispers, then love will save it. Jamie takes her hand, that timeless bond that even history couldn't break, and together, they walk toward the storm. The music swells. the sky splits open. For a brief, blinding moment, past and future become one. And in that light, we see them not as ghosts or legends, but as what they've always been. Two souls who refuse to let time win. The night splits open like a wound. The air itself trembles, as if the sky can no longer hold the weight of centuries. Time is collapsing, and in its storm, every heartbeat, every memory, every promise ever made begins to collide. The battlefield is not made of dirt and blood this time. It's made of moments, flickering images from every life Jamie and Claire have ever touched. The Highlands, the colonies, the halls of Lallybroch, all woven together in a swirling storm of time. Thunder rolls, but it's not thunder. It's the sound of history breaking. Jamie stands at the center, sword in hand, the rain mixing with sweat and firelight. Around him, soldiers appear and vanish, ghosts from wars long past, fighting in endless loops. He looks for Claire through the chaos, his voice cutting through the storm. Claire. Her voice answers from beyond the mist. Jamie. She's by the stones now, the heart of the storm. Clutching her medical satchel and the broken watch, the one that refuses to keep time, the keeper of time appears before her, his cloak rippling like smoke. It must end, he says calmly, even as the ground shakes beneath them. You've held time captive with your love. To free the world, you must let it go. Claire's voice cracks. If we let go, we lose everything. The keeper's eyes soften. Or perhaps you give everything meaning. The stones begin to spin faster, light pouring out like fire from the earth. The storm grows wild, centuries bleeding together. The 1700s, the 1900s, the 2000s, all flashing like shattered glass. Jamie reaches her at last. Their hands meet, lightning strikes, and suddenly, they are standing in two timelines at once. One world shows them young and fearless. The other, old and tired. They look at each other and understand this is their final test. Behind them, Brianna and Roger emerge through the light, their figures flickering between centuries. You can't stop it, Roger shouts over the roar, but you can guide it. Claire looks into Jamie's eyes. All the lives we've lived, all the pain, the joy, the years stolen and given back. It was never about time, was it? Jamie shakes his head. No, Sasanak. It was always about us. With tears streaming down her face, Claire places her hands on the glowing stone. Her voice trembles. Then let love be the last thing time remembers. She closes her eyes, and the world explodes into light. Every era flashes before them, the battles, the births, the losses, the kisses. Every soul they've ever saved or lost passes through that light. It's beautiful and heartbreaking all at once. A lifetime of love collapsing into a single breath. The keeper watches, silent and still. So ends the age of the Frasers, he murmurs. But so begins the legacy they left behind. The storm starts to fade. The firelight turns golden, the sky softens. For the first time in what feels like forever, time stops fighting. Jamie and Claire fall to their knees, holding each other as the world rebuilds around them. The stones grow quiet. The air is calm. The war is over, not just the war of men, but the war of time itself. As dawn breaks over the horizon, Jamie whispers, "We changed history again, didn't we?" Claire smiles weakly through tears. "No. This time, we gave it back." Camera would pull away slowly, showing them framed by the stones, wrapped in light. As the wind carries the sound of bagpipes in the distance, their love didn't end. It became history itself. When the storm ends, the silence feels almost unreal. To calm, to still, like the world is holding its breath after centuries of screaming. The sky is no longer split by lightning. It's washed clean, glowing softly with the pale light of dawn. Time has stopped moving. Or maybe it's finally at peace. The battlefield that once swirled with ghosts and echoes is gone. In its place lies quiet land, untouched by war. The grass glistens with morning dew, and the stones, once alive with furious light, now stand cold and silent. Like ancient witnesses who have finally finished their duty, Jamie and Claire sit among them, their hands still joined. Their faces are calm, peaceful, almost ageless. Two souls who have finally stepped outside the prison of time. For a moment, they just breathe. No ticking clocks. No war drums. No centuries chasing them. Claire looks at Jamie, her voice soft but filled with awe. Is it over? He gazes toward the horizon, where the sun rises slow and golden. A Sassenach. It's over. But look around. Maybe this is what forever truly means. She smiles faintly, her eyes glistening. Not the time we have, but what we leave behind. As they stand, the world around them begins to reshape, threads of history weaving themselves together again. The ruins rebuild, the broken trees regrow, and distant echoes of laughter and life return to the air. It's as if love itself is healing the world. Far across time, Brianna wakes up in her century, surrounded by her family. The air is still, and the hum of the stones has vanished. She rushes to her window and sees sunlight reflecting on the river. A single feather floats past, white, weightless, and familiar. She knows what it means. Roger places a hand on her shoulder. They did it, didn't they? Brianna nods through tears. They gave time back to itself. On Fraser's Ridge, or what's left of it, life begins again. The birds return to their nests. The wind moves gently through the trees. There's no trace of war, no trace of the storm. But the air feels sacred, like every leaf carries a whisper of their love, in a quiet corner. The old pocket watch that once defied reason finally stops spinning. Its hands freeze at dawn, the exact moment the world began again. Claire's initials are faintly carved inside, now glowing with a faint golden light. It's not a reminder of time lost, but of love eternal. The keeper of time appears one last time, standing near the stones. His expression is no longer stern, it's almost human, touched with gratitude. They chose love, he murmurs. And in doing so, they chose balance. He places his hand on the nearest stone, and for the first time, the light doesn't burn. It glows softly, like a heartbeat. Let history remember them, he says quietly. Not as travelers through time, but as those who taught time how to love. The wind rises gently, carrying the faint sound of Claire's laughter, not ghostly, not haunting, but alive, as the sun climbs higher. The camera would pan out, showing the vast stretch of the Highlands, golden under morning light. The stones stand still, peaceful, eternal, and there. Between shadow and sun, two figures fade slowly into the light, hand in hand. Hearts unbroken, because love was never bound by time. It was the thread that stitched every century together. Time. It never truly ends. It only changes its rhythm. Once it moved like a river, unstoppable, untouchable, carrying love and loss through centuries. But now, it feels different, quieter, kinder, as if it finally learned the one truth. Jamie and Claire lived by that time means nothing without love. The camera drifts over the highlands, mist curls through the valleys, and the air hums with the heartbeat of a world reborn. The stones stand tall, their light dimmed to a gentle glow, no longer a gateway, but a monument to what was given, what was forgiven. A voice rises, soft, steady, familiar. Claire's voice. We were never meant to conquer time. We were meant to walk through it, to learn, to love, and to let go. Her words echo as if carried by the wind itself. Whispering through the trees and over the hills, Jamie's voice joins hers, warm and sure. Love doesn't end with the years, Sassenach. It becomes the years. Their voices blend, two souls speaking as one, no longer bound to flesh or history, but to something greater. The music swells soft strings and the faint wail of bagpipes, weaving emotion through every frame. The scene shifts glimpses of their legacy across time. A child's laughter near the river at Frasers Ridge. A letter sealed with the Fraser crest discovered centuries later. A woman in modern-day Scotland touching the stones, feeling a pulse beneath her hand. Each moment whispers the same truth: they were here. And in some way, they always will be. The keeper of time appears one last time, standing before the stones as the sky turns to gold. His voice is low, reverent. Their love became the balance the world forgot. It bound the past to the future and taught time to forgive itself. He turns away, his figure fading into the light, leaving behind nothing but peace and the sound of the river flowing gently through the highlands as the music softens. We hear Claire's voice once more, distant yet clear. Perhaps time is not a circle, nor a line. Perhaps it is a heartbeat felt by those who dare to love beyond it. The final image fades in, the Fraser crest carved into stone, surrounded by wildflowers. The sunlight glints across it, and the sound of the wind carries their laughter one last time. The screen fades to black. A heartbeat. Then silence. Text appears. Outlander. The final chapter, where love becomes legacy. Then, softly, the faint ticking of a clock begins again. A reminder that somewhere, sometime, love still endures. There are stories that end, and there are stories that become legend. But some stories, like the Frasers, never truly end. They echo, soft and endless, through the folds of time. The screen opens on the Scottish Highlands. Years, maybe centuries later, the world is different now. New lives, new voices, new futures. But beneath it all, the land remembers. The wind hums faintly with a sound long forgotten, the song of the stones. A young woman walks through the mist, her hair red as fire, her steps sure though she's never been here before. In her hand she holds a journal, worn leather-bound. Marked with the initials CF, she doesn't know why she's drawn to this place. Only that she's dreamed of it since she was a child. As she approaches the circle of stones, the morning light breaks across the sky. She kneels, brushing her fingers across the cold surface of one stone. For a moment, nothing happens, just silence. But then, the faintest warmth touches her skin. A heartbeat. She opens the journal and begins to read aloud. The words are simple. It's written in a voice both familiar and eternal. To whoever finds this, love bravely, even when the world tells you not to. Because love is not bound by time. It is time.